The new season for Rainbow Six Siege, Vector Glare, is right around the corner. That also means a whole new season of rank. In today's video, whether you're a seasoned vet or someone new to Rainbow Six Siege, I'm going to go over the ultimate guide on how to aim train ahead of Vector Glare. Quick disclaimer that most of what I'm going to go over can be applied to both PC and console, but there are going to be some limitations to console, and I am going to come at it from a PC player perspective. First things first, it's important to find a sensitivity that's for you. How do we do this? Well, one thing that you can do is, if you're starting off as a new player, go into a T-Hunt or a custom game and draw 4 dots and a square. Now what you want to do is just go between these 4 dots like so, just in a square motion or any random motion. It doesn't matter how you do it, just connect between the dots. Now what you're going to find out is if your sensitivity is too fast, say for instance I'm going between this dot to this dot, if it's too fast I'm going to go over, right? I'm going to end up past the dot. If it's too slow I'm going to end up behind the dot or short of the dot. It's okay to have some small inconsistencies in your aim, but you want it to be as perfect as possible. So if I end up right here on the dot, yes, it's not perfect, but for the most part it's going to be okay. But like I said, you want it to be as perfect as possible, and you want to do this until you find a sensitivity that matches almost like mine. What you're going to find out is that not all sensitivities fit each player, and as you progress through your ranks or as you play more, you're going to want to change your sense, and you're going to find out that different senses work for you at different periods of time. For my PC players, this heavily depends on whether you are a wrist or an arm player. What does this mean? It means that you primarily, if you're a wrist player, it means that you primarily use your wrist to aim. This means you're using your wrist for your macro movements. Your micro movements are going to be for your fingertips. If you're an arm player, you're going to use your arm for your macro movements, and then you're going to use your wrist for your micro movements or even your fingertips. You can have a hybrid of both, so I use my wrist for the most part for most of my aim. Say for instance I start my screen here, center dot. I can use my wrist all up until these points, and then I can use my arm for my 180s. If you're on PC and you want to use the same sensitivity that I use, feel free to copy it, pause the video if you need to. Now that we figured out your sensitivity, we need to go into a T-Hunt and try it. I suggest using these T-Hunt settings that I'm going to show right now. This means changing your T-Hunts to elimination only and to headshot only. You can use any map that you feel that you want to use. I personally use the ranked pool or the competitive pool. Now that you're in the T-Hunt, there's a couple things that you need to stop doing. You need to stop going into rooms without checking them and just dying, because that wasn't productive at all. And you need to stop aiming at the floor. I understand that you want to aim at the floor because your sight can be in the way sometimes, and you can like look through other parts of the scope and you can see more. But you need to stop aiming at the ground or at leg level or chest level. You need to be aiming head height. To solve this problem, we need to be looking at wooden barricades. Wooden barricades have 2 straps on each side of the door, and there is a top buckle that you can look at. This top buckle is actually head level. This is great because anytime you do T-Hunts or even in ranked games or casual games, you can imagine that there is a wooden barricade or that these buckles are on doors, and you can always be aiming head height. Something that I highly recommend players do is stay aim down sights the entire T-Hunt. This gives you a great feel for your sense as well as when you're moving around the map, because there are going to be times when you're moving around and ADS at the same time. When ADS, you can also flick to various targets around the map. This will give you an even greater feel for your aim, and it's not going to be perfect. The goal is to try to be perfect as possible, but it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay, you're only human. What you're doing though is you're going to constantly be adjusting your sensitivity until it feels right for you. Again, all of this is for you, how you feel with your sensitivity. As you get better and play more, your sense is going to change, like I said before. When doing T-hunts, you should also be trying to do various things like one-taps, recoil control, and just harder weapons to you like Zophia's AR, the R4C, or the SMG-11. If you feel like you have your sense down, you're feeling really comfortable, and you want a challenge before going into a casual or a ranked game, then go and change your settings for T-hunts to disarm bomb only and to presidential plane only. This map will test your 180s and your abilities quite hard, in my opinion. The first time that I ever did it, I didn't succeed, and I didn't succeed until after like the 10th try. If you do it properly, the whole point of this is to really test your 180s and to test your trigger discipline, to make sure you're not holding down the trigger too much or using just as many bullets as you need in order to kill someone and move on to the next target. Pros love this, Bolo loves this. Yes, your favorite player, Bolo, loves doing this T-hunt because it's a really good aim warm-up. After that, you can go into deathmatch and really test your aim. You can go into unranked, casual, and then if you really feel comfortable, you can head into ranked and rank up. With all that said, I do have a couple bonus tips for you guys, like eating healthy, drinking lots of water, getting a lot of sleep, and exercising if you can. All these things do correlate with in-game performance, as it would with traditional sport athletes. Send this to a friend if you found it useful, like if you found it useful, comment, let me know if you found it useful. I do appreciate everyone's feedback, and I do read the comments, and I do enjoy reading them. Subscribe if you really like the content, and go rank up in your ranked games.